Welcome to Warblog. Today we're looking at the 2019 Sudanese coup. So anyway, we always rely on the Africans to have a good coup every now and then. So this one was peaceful. So it starts off with protesters, essentially protesting around sort of Khartoum and Omdurman. You can protest at other places. So we'll leap into sort of play mode. First thing I think we'll do is maybe take Sennar. It's not taking, we're going to go and protest in Sennar, and obviously we'll, in 60 turns, we'll have captured it. So obviously the Sudanese government will have to do something about that. We've not got anything up there, but let's see whether we can protest in, somebody able to protest with everyone. We can't. Let's have a quick look. We can, oh, he can protest because there's a bridge, look. So he can partake in this protest. Let's see what we can do. Well, that was quite good. We got 4-to-1 odds, but it was an exchange. We could have got a retreat out of that. Yeah, because there would have been nowhere to retreat. That was their big chance. Oh well, we've got protesters here as well. So let's see what we can do here. Maybe this will be a 2-to-1. Yep, and that was another exchange. So the protesters are really sort of going for it. So we'll end that turn. Now obviously the police are not happy with that really. So we're sort of surrounded, so maybe dealing with these protesters would be a good idea. Okay, let's try and knock these ones here back. So we can get multiple attacks here. 4-to-1 to a DE. So we push them back. I'm hoping we've got enough for another attack somewhere. What I'm hoping is they won't be able to move and attack next turn, but I don't know how many movement they've got. See if we can push these ones back as well. They're fighting for their lives really, because if they're surrounded, so the DR. Okay, again we're going to have to push these guys back. Got a DR on that, which is good. So the security, these are the police, not security forces, these are the police. Are pushing these protesters back. That's all they've got. We're lucky to survive those 2 rounds. Oh yeah, well I knew I did something, but I shocked myself with that. So as you can see, there's now a lot more protests springing up all over the place. It says Sudanese military, so we should really say protesters, but it was because this is really all about the Sudanese military taking over. They just haven't started yet. So, well, they can. He went over the river. Look at that. We pushed him back over the river. That was good. So, can we move? Can we move there? Yes. plenty of movement there. Yes. We can do that, but we're stuck there. Unless we bring these guys up from there, like that, we might win. A DR. So we basically have just pushed the police out of Khartoum and basically eliminated them. I always like to stress it's not necessarily they're all dead, they've basically been so disorganised they're no longer a functioning unit. So let's see what we can do here against these police. So again, we've pushed these ones out as well. So we've now got, we've not got enough movement to get in there though. But we've now nearly got Omdurman as well. So we can start to move to protest again at Port Sudan. No, we didn't win there, so we were pushed back there. We can take that perhaps. Let's move some more units over to Omdurman. Let's take al-Junayyah. Okay, so the protests are going on all over the country, and the al-Bashir security forces only have one unit. Oh no, I've got another unit here, I've got some over here, some here as well. We really have no choice but to try and get this place back. We're not going to fight across the river. Might be able to push these guys out here. So that was an exchange. Right, let's see what we can do here. Unless we push them back. And that's that. So the protesters are now running wild in Khartoum and Omdurman. They haven't taken it yet. It's one thing I'd introduce, didn't so much introduce, but it always seems a bit odd. It looks like they've taken it, but they haven't, because they've got to capture it. That's why I gave them 30 points, because it's a lot. 60 rounds. But if you recall the Anglophone crisis, they start off with no sort of presence there. So these are the riot police. It's now the Sudanese the sort of protesters' turn, so we can go into Omdurman. Right, well we can't take that now because there are now security forces in there. Now, the interesting thing about that is that they're cohabiting. So we've got protesters in there. Let's see how this works militarily. So look, they shouldn't be there. Let's try and take it. They have failed. Now, what I'm going to do, just to make it simple, I'm going to move these out to there, because that's stupid. But we've at least got Khartoum, we're still competing there. I'd like to sort of maybe compete over here, put some pressure on here. Let's take Waba. Let's take that. See, now they've got police and security forces. If they'd held on for a bit longer, the security forces would have arrived. Maybe they should come on a bit sooner. So they've taken back Khartoum just by the reinforcements arriving there. Let's move up from here. That's their turn. So that's their turn. I'm not thinking too readily about this. So it's now the al-Bashir security forces turn. Now they've got security forces up here, so they can knock these guys back. Well, let's do it with the police. Yep, so it's a 5-1. Now let's send these security forces out to do some sort of security force things. 1-1. That's strange. I thought that protesters would be a 0. I've messed up. Quite significantly, really. Protesters shouldn't be 1-1-3. Protesters should be 0-0-3. They can only fight police. That's why their police had such. That's why they did so well against the police. They shouldn't have done that. I'm going to have to redo that. It won't take me that long, but I'll have to. I'm not going to change it for this video. Maybe I will. Just because I'm only 12 minutes in. I'll pause this and come back. Okay, I've updated that. It didn't take long because I've got new spreadsheet functionality, but I'll have to start the game again. So just downloading the core data in the spreadsheet. Just do it all in one go. So let me just refresh the page. Yeah, so now they're 0-0-3. One of the reasons I play these games is to sort of actually do this sort of sanity checking. So we're now in play mode. So play mode. Okay, so first person to play is these guys. So let's just see what this attack is like now. We've got the proper units. A 2-1, so it's half of what it was, which is good. Still good though, still nice odds. We'll put him into centre and we'll attack there. So this should be, in theory, a 1-1. Yep, it's still an exchange though. So we did the same things we did last time, but with, I'm happy with those odds. So they're going to try and do the same thing, but these guys now are going to be protesters proper. So if we attack this guy, we should get 7-1, not 4-1. No, still 4-1. That might be right. I can really remember. An exchange. We didn't want that. DE. And another DE. So that's the same as we did last time. Okay, so we've got a lot more of these units. So we'll try and do what we did last time. And this time I'll put him onto the path, I think. Okay. We'll try and up the ante here, I think. See if we can get rid of these police units. Got more police there. To the road. So whether we can protest at Port Sudan. No, didn't like that. 1 to 2. That's what you get for protesting. That's better odds, I think. More sort of what you might expect. Okay, so it's the al-Bashir security forces now. I don't think I did their move. Oh well. I don't know what to do about that really, because I can't do another turn. Oh well, we'll just assume that they didn't do it, but what I won't do is attack anyone this turn, just to sort of reflect that. I made a mistake. Basically I moved them, but I didn't do the combat. I only did this one combat and then flipped the turn over. It doesn't really matter, because this turn they should now have their security forces on, be fairly invincible in there now. But it's the Sudanese turn, so there's security forces there. Well, let's see whether we can get more protesters in here. See if we can take Khartoum out. Well, destroyed the police unit. They can't move in there. But we can have one go at Khartoum. One go, one big go before, I think this will probably be terrible odds, but what happened there? Why didn't it like that? For some reason it didn't like that. I wonder why. It might be that protesters can't attack military units. That might be what's going on there. I'm going to assume that it is actually, because if that's the case, then there would have been no units. So it's a bit of a glitch, but something I can live with. but there's no other attacks to be done to sort of test that. We've got an attack here. Let's just see what happens here. This attack should work. Yeah, 1 to 2 in exchange. So they did well. So the protesters can only attack the police. And because we're fighting a stack that has more than police in it, then it's an empty loop and it just goes around in circles. So there should be a message there that says something like, "Stupid, you can't attack these security forces." Okay. So we'll try and speed through it. So next, right, well, they didn't attack last time, but they're going to attack now. We'll remove the security forces out. So they should be getting 7 to 1s in everything, really. No more movement though. So we've got some security forces here. Let's take this little stack out here first with one of these security force units. So now that this is the equivalent of getting heavy-handed, so we've eliminated some units here. And he's got another movement left, so let's take him out. Yep. Okay, and let's see about this guy. 7 to 1 DR. And these guys. Eliminated a unit. And it's still eliminating everything. When it eliminates something, it seems to be eliminating everything in the stack. Right, so let's reload. Which is a glitch. But, okay, right, that's updated. So they've moved now. We've still got some police there. We're going to move some of these police into Omdurman and move the other guys down here. They've gone into a zone of control there now, so they're stuck. He's going to try and take these guys out. He's going to come up here. One to one in exchange. So there's lots of fighting between the protesters and the police. Oh. We've moved him, haven't we? So that's pretty much it. I guess we can fight these guys here. Yep, so we eliminate him. So end that turn. So the Sudanese military are the protesters are now starting to feel this is what I've done, this is all deliberate. So what's happening there, the protesters are now feeling the pinch from these security forces, because that's sort of what happened. And so this is the nature of the way things went. So we've got some more police there, some police there now. Oh. Might as well see about trying to take this place. One to one exchange, so nothing there. We don't really sort of push too much towards Port Sudan. But yes, we can stack up against the capital, but they've got security forces, so there's no point in taking it. Then we can go into Sennar, maybe with 2 units. and can maybe try and double up in there and take out Gali. Okay, so it's now the al-Bashir security turn. Right, well, we're going to try and get rid of these guys again. So probably eliminated all of them, didn't it? It's a pain. We have to sort that out, but oh no, we shouldn't have gone there. Okay, well, I suppose we could, because we can go down there. Yep. So the security forces are paying swift boot to the protesters, which is sort of what happened. So we'll get rid of these guys. No, police didn't win that one. Okay, so these are security forces of DE. Another attack on these guys. Okay, so it's another DE, so we're pushing these guys back and away, protecting there. So, doing well. However, now what we've got is these guys, the Sudanese military, have now arrived. So it's the Sudanese military turn. So they've now arrived and they're supporting the protesters. So we've got some armour outside Khartoum, so let's try and take Khartoum with this armoured unit. A DR, so we push the police out and move our armour in. And let's push these police out as well. 3 to 1 DR. Still got some movement. I don't want to try across the river there. So we've now taken Khartoum, or we've got a presence in there. It's 100 points, it's 200 turns worth. But we've also got some more units down here, so we'll get rid of these police here. Okay, so we pushed him back and get rid of these police units here. So what we've now got is the Sudanese military getting involved. So we've got some movement, isn't we? So we can chase these police units away. Yep. So they should get 6, pushing 9, so they were probably lucky not to rout. Okay, the protesters aren't going to protest anymore because the military are involved, because unless there's any obvious targets. I mean, we could protest against Omdurman, but it's not brilliant odds. Not point protesting over there. No, that's fine, I think. So, well, the security forces are not going to try and take out this armoured unit in Khartoum. Police are not going to try and take that. So we'll put the security forces into Omdurman, which should give them a little defence. These police are going to stay there. We've got some security forces here, so we might as well at least try and push these guys out. Oops, we'll eliminate that unit. Okay, so we've got a good line across there, so let's move our armour out. And we don't want to do that because he's on the other side of the river, isn't he? What I'm going to do, I'm going to go through the turn there, because now we've got another armoured unit there, another unit there, another mechanised unit here. So basically what we're getting is this build-up of units. Let's take Eldane. Move these police out. Yep. So we're sort of protesting over here, fine. They're a bit of a problem, so we might as well deal with them. Here we are. Well, these are security forces, aren't they? So we'll move down here. Sudanese military. Oh, because he went in, didn't he? So it's the other one. Move him there. Attack these guys. Okay, so that's a DR. Pushed him across this river there. We'll leave him there. Try and support these guys here. Putting their zone of control again. The other one will take them across the river. So next turn. So I'm going to leave it at that, I think, because basically what happens now clearly is that the Sudanese military will grow, because if we go on to turn 7, we get more armoured units. So we've got 3 armoured units over here. Maybe I should have been a bit more creative with where they appeared. We've got 3 units here now, 3 mechanised units down here, and they just keep building until turn 11, so there's another 4 turns of that. And so basically there were some skirmishes. I mean, so what we've got protesters protesting the police, and then protesting against this, and then the al-Bashir regime bringing in the security forces, which, you know, knock the protesters back, and the protesters continue to protest, and then the military get involved, and there are some skirmishes between the military and the security forces, but not a lot. As we've just demonstrated there. I mean, they're not going to fight anymore now. The only thing we've really got to take is Omdurman and Port Sudan. But, you know, so that's pretty much the sort of state of play. Now, I mean, obviously you go through and you sort of do it until you've combated everything. But I think even at this stage you might sort of say, well, you know, the al-Bashir regime has fallen. The only thing I haven't put in here, and I don't really want to be sort of so pedantic to do it, is after the military sort of took power, protesters continued to protest against them. So presumably there would be al-Bashir protesters, but they wouldn't be, because obviously they didn't want al-Bashir, but they don't want the military in there. So they're protesting against the military, you know, putting in a military government. One of the main guys has sort of stood down now, and they're saying that they're going to basically oversee civilian government, the installation of a civilian government, etc. So it's quite interesting, you know, because it's sort of a peaceful coup. It hasn't sort of instigated a massive civil war across Sudan. The military don't appear to have sort of chosen to seize power for themselves, and you know, so that's pretty much that. I don't know much about Sudan, other than the fact that, you know, there's been a few wars there, and, you know, the issues with South Sudan, and I can never remember off the top of my head. You know, I'm sure I've played a few other scenarios with Sudan over the years, but I think it's one of the countries that's sort of been prone to civil wars over time, and so sort of interesting to see, a more sort of immediate and peaceful sort of coup, so to speak. So that's pretty much that. It's an interesting scenario, I think. Sort of, there's lots of space, lots of units, but in a sense, it's not particularly. It's not a military one. In the sense that there's not a lot of strategy. I mean, you're not going to win as the al-Bashir regime because you just don't have the military ability. But to get an idea of the flavour of what happened, it's quite good. I mean, I don't know where the main protests went. I think most of it was in Khartoum, but the only thing that sort of is quite clear is sort of the river network, which comes down from a big lake. I think it's in Lake Nasser up here, and it comes down this way, and you can see it gets smaller here, and this is some White Nile, and this is the Red Nile or something. Sort of starts splitting up. But you've got this sort of more open, so all the settlements are along here. So presumably this is the more sort of fertile region, and then this is the more Sahel sort of desert, Libya, Chad, that sort of triangle there. Maybe this should be all done in desert. Maybe I should go back and edit it and sort of put a lot of this section here as desert. I might do that actually, but I'd have to. It's a lot of work for what it's worth. But yes, but the thing is, even though it's maybe bush, which is green, you can see there's nothing there. It's not as though I haven't put any towns. There's nothing there. So their whole sort of place is down here. Their main settlements, the main sort of areas of Sudan, etc., are down here. So that's that. Hope that makes sense, and you enjoyed that, and I'll speak to you later. Cheerio.